Greetings from Dallas, Texas. I'm Nitin Harkara. Arundhati Roy, the Indian author, was recently charged with several offenses under the Indian Penal Code. She was charged with making statements prejudicial to the unity and integrity of the Indian Union. She was charged with making statements which promote public enmity, and she was charged with statements which disturb the public peace. Who is Arundhati Roy? As you may know, she's an author who wrote a book called The God of Small Things in 1997, and she was given an award by the English, the Booker Prize, for her work. She has since written articles in various journals, and she has also been recognized as some sort of political activist who promotes secularist and leftist causes in India. The West, basically the US, the UK, and Australia, have given her a few awards. And she's one of the people in India whom the West likes to promote and use to advance their agenda in India. In a speech delivered in the year 2010, Arundhati Roy declared that Kashmir is not an integral part of India. This speech was delivered at a gathering of known secessionists and people from Kashmir like Syed Ali Shah Gilani, who's a well-known separatist. He has since passed away, but his views were quite well known. It's one thing to express views like this over a glass of wine in private conversations in somebody's living room, and quite another to be delivering public remarks like this. And these remarks were taken notice of by several people, and a case was filed against her on the charges that I mentioned. So she has also expressed these feelings and views of hers in a book that she wrote, or contributed to, I should say. It's this book right here that I'm holding in my hand, Kashmir, the Case for Freedom. She basically said that Kashmir deserves azadi from India, or freedom from India. So Arundhati Roy's statement is that Kashmir is not an integral part of India. Let's take a look at how Kashmir became a part of the Indian Union and an integral part of India. The ruler of Kashmir, Hari Singh, signed a document called the Instrument of Accession in 1947. And via that document, the state of Jammu and Kashmir legally became a part of the Indian Union. So if Arundhati Roy says that Kashmir is not an integral part of India, she is basically questioning the legality of that accession. Now, the same instrument of accession was signed by the ruler of Travancore, which eventually became part of the state of Kerala. The same instrument of accession was signed by the ruler of Mysore, which eventually became part of the state of Karnataka. The same instrument of accession was signed by the ruler of Patiala, which eventually became the state of, part of the state of Punjab. So if Arundhati Roy says that Kashmir is not an integral part of India, by extension, it would mean that neither Travancore, Mysore, or Patiala became part of India, which means that Kerala, Karnataka, and Punjab are not part of India either. This is a completely laughable proposition on the face of it. And somebody might say that it should be dismissed outright. I will tell you why it should not be dismissed outright. As you may know, the state of Jammu and Kashmir was actually composed of three distinct regions. Kashmir, which is a Muslim majority region, Jammu, which happens to be a Hindu majority region, and Ladakh, which is a Buddhist majority region. So going by Arundhati Roy's logic, what she is saying is that because Kashmir happens to be dominated by a community that is not part of the majority community of India, it should not be viewed as an integral part of India. Now, this has very dangerous implications for various other parts of India, which are currently undergoing some shift in demographics and which are also composed of different communities. So going by Arundhati Roy's logic, Manipur, which is equally composed of Hindus and non-Hindus, may claim to not be a part of India. Nagaland, which is largely Christian, may also make a claim that is not an integral part of India. There are demographic shifts underway in India at this time. So some states, the composition of the population is changing. So let's say West Bengal sees an increase in the numbers of one community. 20 years down the line, does West Bengal also not become an integral part of India? 20 years down the line, does Kerala, which is seeing an increase in the population of a couple of different communities, does Kerala also not become a part of India? Are these states not an integral part of India then? Why should you care about this? You have seen the impact that such statements have had in various parts of India. You have seen what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits in Kashmir. You have seen what happened in Punjab during the 1990s. You have seen what happened recently in Manipur with the ethnic conflict between some communities in that state. So the problem is that such statements, both looking backward and looking forward, make very little sense from the standpoint of national integration. They are clearly designed to disrupt the public peace and cause problems between people and with issues between different communities. So dissent and freedom of speech are clearly the lifeblood of any vibrant democracy. There's no question about that. The problem is that when these cross over into the territory of sedition and borderline treason, that is when they become very, very dangerous for national unity and integrity. People like Arundhati Roy have a very insidious agenda which can be very damaging to India in the long term. The West loves to promote people like these because it likes to keep India on the back foot in terms of discussions on human rights, in terms of discussions on so-called communal violence, in terms of discussions on so-called majoritarianism, etc. So these people are the perfect tools for the West. These so-called intellectuals have long promoted causes like this, and they have spread misinformation and disinformation about the country in the West. In fact, the problem with such people is that they will do anything and say anything as long as they see a few dollars and pounds coming their way. The days of India kowtowing to the West are over. And even though there may be some protest in the West against prosecuting such individuals, I don't think that this will cause much of a ripple beyond some reports in newspapers critical of India. The issue is that such people should not be accepted without any objections being raised with reference to their speeches. Because as I mentioned, these speeches and statements like this have long-term implications for the country. I do hope the Indian legal system prosecutes this lady and the law runs its course. If this lady is made an example of, I'm sure that others who are looking to promote anti-national activities will think twice before doing so. Thank you. Jai Hind.